love all of our players. Freddie, nice guy.
Look, the crack of that bat. Nothing more beautiful than that.
Baseball is such an important part of our family.
That's the beautiful game of baseball right there. You win some, you truly lose some.
I just want somebody to talk Dodgers to me. Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Okay, before we get started, I just want to give you a little something.
All right.
So, one of your friends reached out and asked and said you made a comment about something and asked if I could help her find one for you. So, with a little help from Les and a friend, all getting in touch.
What? Okay, a bag? This is awesome. Oh, wait, there's something inside it. This is really, oh my goodness. Yes, this is fantastic.
Well, it's from Kike himself.
No, it's not.
Yes,
How do I know that? Because
so, do you remember we did an episode with Dr. L.A. Toma Gustin?
Mm-hmm.
So she and her husband are good friends with Kike and Mariana. So I reached out to them, and they mailed that over.
Stop it.
Because when she messaged me, I'm like, well, I'll just give him my bobblehead. And then I thought, why don't I see if I can get one from Kike?
Right.
So I reached out to her, and she reached out to them, and then we got it.
Best. I love it. This is really good. If all these machines weren't here, I'd get up and hug you. But then I feel like
you can hug
he's
me
gonna
later.
He's going to be mad because we set up the mics again.
But yes, that is from Kike.
I've whistled at Kike. I've yelled fun things at Kike, and I've made him turn around and look at me and blush. I think he blushes, but it's always a fun thing just to get his attention. But I love him, and when obviously you and I talked about it, Kike was my Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, that was my Super Bowl.
Do you know how many times I wanted to tell you?
Because you knew.
Well, I was trying to get this.
Oh, okay.
So I've had it for a little while,
I'm
and then we were
horrible with surprises.
figuring out when we were going to do this, and I have no patience, so I just wanted to tell you. I did tell your friend, Les.
Yes.
She's very sweet.
Very nice.
And she reached out and said, you made a joke about wishing you had grabbed yours.
Yeah.
And so
So
now you started a new collection.
I know absolutely. And when I did go back to the house and I did look specifically for like the area of it, but it was so hard. And I only actually had at this point I had only 3 bobbleheads, and my mom being a nice Catholic, she had a little Virgin Mary with Jesus and everybody there. And there in October, I put all the bobbleheads behind Mary and Joseph. It's Magic Johnson doing the no look pass. Mookie, that's the one. It was Mookie doing Mookie doing something. It was Mookie, Kike, and Magic Johnson, and so they were right next to Jesus during the.
Wow!
the time.
So maybe all of them were pulling for us to win the World Series.
I think everybody was. A lot of people were. Yeah, absolutely, yes. Yeah, this is really nice. I'm really excited because you're right. I have exactly the spot to put it.
Good. Welcome back
Thank
to
you.
a special edition of Talk Dodgers to Me. It didn't feel right to me to go into season 2 without addressing the horrific wildfires that happened in our beautiful city this last month. First, I just want to say thank you to our first responders, firefighters in Los Angeles, and truly all over the world that came to help as we watched our city burn. It's been horrific and devastating for so many people, so many families, and people who lost everything. And my heart just goes out to everyone, specifically in Altadena and the Pacific Palisades. And I just can't imagine what they're going through right now in rebuilding their lives after such loss. And so today I invited a friend who you might recognize from a previous episode to join me. So thank you so much, Jose, for being here with me today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, my pleasure. It was a lot of fun. It was great to get the call, and I was surprised that it wasn't invited earlier. But this is a good circumstance for me.
You've been on already.
I know. I just have too much to tell and talk about it.
But we had so much fun when we talked
did.
that we've kept in touch.
Yeah.
And I knew that you lived in Altadena,
Right.
and so I just have been thinking about you so much.
Yeah.
And just
Thank you. Yeah, your
sending
support.
you all my
Your
love.
support. It was your support from the get-go when you reached out. you called me at a point where it was like headquarters at the Airbnb that I was at. But I was like, Melissa's calling me. This had, like that was, I thought was.
Were you
really
like, who's this New Jersey number calling me?
No, it's for some reason it's like Apple saved it already and it came as your name on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone.
Nice.
Yeah, so I knew it was you. So I was like, so again, I was like, it must be for this because you knew how it was, and obviously it was a lot of joy, obviously, to receive you, and then a couple of times that we talked, how you helped me out, and we learned how to talk to each other about how asking for help and stuff.
Yep.
So that was a lot of help. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. Just in general, I had a great experience last time when I was with you guys, and I didn't think that I made that big of an impact for you guys. But
absolutely.
But on the other side of the camera, when it ended, and before you guys cut, or before I hung up, I think you kind of leaned back. And I don't know who was like here, and he goes, "What about Jose?" or something like that. You're like, Jose, or am I right? Like you were like that. I was like, oh, have they?
I didn't want to stop talking to you,
know,
but we had another person coming on after, and we had arranged the timing.
Right.
And I didn't want them to wait. But I'm like, I wish I did Jose last because we were just like having so much fun, and I loved that you really thought about it and prepared for it. Like that really meant a lot to me. So you made such an impression.
Thank you, and I've been preparing.
And on my mom.
I know.
Guys, my mom and sister are here today.
Yes, it was a good vibe.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do.
Other people also specifically called you out and just said, how awesome you were.
Oh, that's really nice. That's good. Because
but-
it really came from the heart. Like the conversation of Dodgers comes from an organic place. Like when I think about, people ask me like, what's my favorite sport? I always say it's baseball, right? I love baseball, especially Dodger baseball. It's part of our culture in our house. Like everything's blue. Blue, we literally bleed blue. Everything is blue. There's very rare where you see any other team around the house. Very, very rarely.
Wait, so there is
only because I
What
played
team?
baseball and softball, and so they make us wear other uniforms. And I did have, which now I don't miss it too much. I did have an Angels jersey because I had to wear it.
All right. I mean, that's okay, I guess.
That's fine. But it's selective. But again, talking about Dodgers is organic to me, and there's so many stories. And I feel like I represent this group of this family that has grown up so much with so much fun memories and so much heartbreak as well. So we had to talk about it. But again, thank you so much for having me here, and especially with the special occasion. It's a very nice thing for you to do.
Of course. Yeah. I'm so glad that you said yes. For me, my experience was probably one of those most scared I've ever been, but nowhere near anything you went through. And, it's interesting having my mom here because I feel like she was in New Jersey at the time, and I'm sure feeling very helpless knowing her daughters are in LA during the fires. And I was trying to mask a little bit how scared I was to her.
Right.
But I was very close to the Pacific Palisades fires. I was in an evacuation warning zone the whole time, so I never did have to evacuate. But, that stretch of time, walking outside and not being able to see the sky,
Right.
the smoke, the air, my eyes, my throat, like that was something I'll never forget.
You still stayed.
I ended up going to my sister's in Venice.
Okay.
Just to get a little further away from it. But, just checking that watch duty app all the time, trying to figure out if I should keep watching the news or not watch the news. I probably called Adam 100 times. What do you think?
You're lowballing it.
Oh, I am.
Remind me again, because it was.
He was in an evacuation zone.
You were.
He didn't evacuate.
In the Palisades?
No, I just live in North Santa Monica, but I was pretty close, but I was keeping tabs on things. I didn't feel I was too in danger.
Could you see the fire or just the smoke?
I could. The first night when I walked home, I could see orange glow all in the sky. Reminded me of Blade Runner, but that was probably the scariest night just because of the wind. The wind was just so, and there was a massive tree fell 100 yards from my house, so it was that part was very dangerous. But gladly, I made it out.
Yeah, actually, where we are, this is kind of where the cutoff was. For the evacuations, but he has a a good way of calming me.
Which was?
So that's why I kept calling him just to reassure me. And he kept telling me, stop watching the news.
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
But, you know, there was a certain point where Sam and I were thinking of leaving. My mom was like, come back to New Jersey. And then I feel like we kind of missed the window to leave. And my sister also was like, there's no way I'm leaving.
Right.
And I wasn't going to go anywhere without her. And at one point, I was like, well, worst comes to worst, we just run to the ocean. And even just like thinking about that sentence now, like looking back, that is crazy.
Right.
But obviously safe. My home is safe. And so I'm so grateful that you are willing to share what you went through. So even just that first day,
Yeah.
were you home? Did you look out the window and see the fires?
So the first day for us, I think Palisades started before or after the Altadena. I don't remember. Before, right?
Yeah, before.
So interesting story is that I was feverishly sick that weekend.
Oh no.
Fevers. So I was coming down of like just body aches and everything. And I had my kids that weekend. It was MLK Day. So then I had them an extra day. So the Monday when they were with me in Altadena, it was very, very windy. Very, very windy. And I was thinking, I'm going to take you guys back home on Tuesday, which is when they start. So the wind is coming up really hard. So when I took them,
that was the craziest wind I've ever, right?
So yes, that by far. And in Pasadena in years past, we've had bad winds like that. We've had winds never like that. It was, I think they said here, like a Hurricane 4 kind of caliber of the winds, because we were 35 to 65 miles per hour. And that'll come back in the story in a second, but I've never seen something like that before. And everything was just flying around the backyard. We lost power in Altadena at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So all Altadena and some areas of Pasadena. And my friend who lives in East Pasadena called me. He goes, hey, where are you going to go? I'm like, for what? For evacuation. I'm leaving. They told me to evacuate. And he was right under, like, close to Sierra Madre on that side of Pasadena. And so he left. And I said, well, I haven't gotten any notification. And so when I came back from dropping off my kids, I could see down the 210 freeway, like the La Cañada Hills were burning. And I was like, okay, I've never seen that before. That was pretty interesting. And then we got home, and I live with my mom and my sister, right? So I moved in July because my mom has Alzheimer's and dementia, and I felt really guilty having my own place, and my sister's just battling it out with my mom. I was like, you know what? Let me move in with them. So I moved in with them in July. And so my sister and I were on candlelight talking that night. We're like, yeah, so how's the day? Whatever. The wind is blowing. This is crazy. And I'm like, well, let's go to bed. It's 9:30 at night. I have nothing else to do. Let's just go to bed. And when I looked at the phone on the app, it was mandatory evacuation was red. Yellow was voluntary evacuation. And Lake Avenue, which was nothing, it was fine, is about 2.5 miles away from my house. Wow. So we were not even in a voluntary evacuation zone. So if you think about where Lake Avenue is in my house, that's probably, I want to say, 1,000 houses.
Okay.
1,000 homes. And so went to bed, woke up because of the winds around 1:30, and it had knocked the wooden fence over next door, right, between me and the neighbor. I was like, oh man, we don't have a neighbor next door. He lives out of town in Ohio. So I told my sister, like, check it out. I can see the fires had now moved to this side of the...
So you could see them from your house.
It was the first time I had seen them like that. Again, we've had fires before. We've had smoke. We've had ashes. I think the last time was 2013. And then prior to that, like the biggest one I remember was 1994. So again, we were very, very familiar with fires in that area, but it had never, ever jumped the creek. Or if you've ever done any cool hikes in LA, it's the Eaton Canyon hike.
Right.
And there's a creek there. And it never jumped that. Never, never, never. So it's like, oh, it's just close. Let's go back to bed. Oh my gosh. But kind of like cautious a little bit about it, right? And so at 3:50, we get a notification on our phone, immediate evacuation now.
Wow.
And you can hear a bullhorn of sheriff going street to street telling everybody to evacuate, right? And I was like, whoa, and I was like, you heard that? Yes, I heard that.
Wow.
So immediately we text a few neighbors. Julie, did you get this? Peter, where you at? Da, da, da. I'll meet you guys in the front. We're ready. And I was like, oh man, okay, well this is a normal evacuation. And so because I moved in with my mom and my sister, all my closets isn't like in the garage. So I'm gonna go to the garage. And for some reason, I packed a bag, and I was like, okay, well, we're probably gonna go to a hotel. So let me grab these old raggy T-shirts that have like this necklines all broken. Let me grab these pajamas. Let me grab these. Oh man, I was doing whites, and all my white socks are there. So I grabbed work socks to bring with sweatpants and stuff. So it was just really off. And then my sister and I, we have a dog, and so my sister and I, we were talking about the dog, bring the dog. Because it's a special, it's really expensive dog food. So we're like, we have to bring it. And in between all that, we didn't bring it. We forgot it. So when we evacuated back into the car, again, the main thing was we have to get our mom to understand what's going on. And she couldn't understand what was going on. So we packed both cars with whatever we had. And by the time, you have to understand, by the time I walked out of my room into the garage, you couldn't see 10 feet.
Oh my gosh.
It was complete smoke. And I'd never seen it before. I was like, huh, this is new. This is completely new. And so when we got in our cars and you flash your lights, probably 10 yards is the only thing you can see.
Wow.
And so my sister said, let's not go down Fair Oaks because there's going to be a lot of people getting out of town. Let's go around Altadena to go see if my aunt and uncle got this notification because they're older and they've lived in Altadena for 45 years. And they live about 0.7 miles away from my house. So we went north onto Altadena Drive, which I went north, like going towards the fire. I didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
And so when we turned and we're going Altadena, you can see the sheriff, but they can't do anything.
And they let you go in that direction?
Because they were going street by street, making sure everybody was getting it.
Wow.
Because you have to understand, like, we didn't have power at 5 o'clock. So people that were not ready to lose power didn't have their phones charged. They didn't get these notifications. Also, if you have this particular server or I don't know, but not everybody got this notification. So I'm driving in the car and it's smoke and I can barely see about 10 yards in front of me, and you see the ambers just flying over. And they're flying like a movie, like a Braveheart movie where somebody's throwing them with an arch, just going, and they're big. So we turned into my uncle's house, and the first house in the corner was on fire already. So that house on fire was less than a mile away from my house, half a mile away, right? One house in the corner. We got to my uncle's, we were good, we're safe.
Were they getting ready to go, or had they gotten the alert?
They were getting ready to go, yeah, but they actually, weird enough, they did not get a notification. They got up because of the smoke. They were, because
they figured it out on their own.
Yeah, but they again, they were on the way out. They're old. They're my mom's age. She was a little bit older. We want to make sure they're okay, and they took off and they were going to go to Rolling Heights. That's where their sister lived. And my sister and I convoyed it down Fair Oaks, turned east on Colorado. And we're like, well, there's hotels on this. We're just going to book a hotel somewhere. And we're literally just going hotel by hotel. No vacancy. Sorry. We kind of laugh now. It kind of reminded me of like Forrest Gump and the bus, where it's like, you can't sit here. Yeah, this seat's taken. And then somebody said, you can sit here. Right, so we got all the way to the Americana. The Americana.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, we have to get out of this road because the winds were so hard and so tough that things were just flying everywhere. So we went to the Americana, kind of regrouped. I was like, I gotta get out. Let's see what's in Echo Park. Let's see what's in another city. And fortunately, I remember that I teach a class on Saturdays, and one of my students works the graveyard shift for the hotel in Burbank. And I text him, I was like, Mark, are you working? He goes, yes. Do you have a room? We evacuated. And just within like minutes, he said, yes, come on over.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And we were fortunate, we were just 7 minutes away. So I get there, I'm checking in. Another gentleman was checking in behind me, in front of me. And behind me was all the Southwest airline from Burbank had been grounded. Right? So it was all the pilots and everything. And then the gentleman that was checking in, kind of turns around. I turn around, I see him. We kind of both did like the, I know who you are, but let's just not worry about that right now. It was like it was Mario Lopez. So we kind of, I thought it was just really fun to see that. But again, he was checking in. He also evacuated his house. So we were there. We got to the hotel. We got checked in and everything. And then by 8:30, again, this was our mentality. We're going to come back. Mm-hmm. Let's just grab this. Let's just get out. We're going to come back. You know, we've been here before. We've seen this before. And the dog food, I'll pick it up later on. Whatever it was. And so by 8:30, by 8 o'clock, I'm going to go back to Altadena. 8 in the morning. And I'm driving down, and I'm just driving into deeper and deeper in it. You exit Lincoln, you go north, and it was complete chaos. It was like, police had not been able to, at that point, it was not controlling anything. They couldn't.
Yeah, we couldn't do the airstrikes yet.
Nothing. And so people were fighting they're fighting the fires themselves.
Oh my gosh.
The cops were trying to block the streets, control traffic. Mm-hmm. People were walking everywhere. Other people were taking photos. It was complete chaos, and I kept going north and north because we're in Altadena and on the west side, close to the Rose Bowl kind of area, right? And as I turn up Fair Oaks, I don't recognize the street because everything is randomly on fire. Buildings, I'm like, where am I? I had to look at on my card, the GPS, to see where my street was coming up. So that's how unrecognizable it was.
Holy
at
crap.
8 in the morning. And so I turned the corner, and I stopped. And I was just completely just taken back by it because it was dark, black. The block was just engorged in flames, completely. And I have a photo of it because I was like, I don't know, it was, and the photo is just black at 8:30 in the morning, the skies. So I turned around and called my sister. I was like, if the house is up still, mm-hmm. It's a miracle if it survives. So went back to the hotel, talked to my friends, how everybody's going, because I have a lot of friends in Altadena. And I had a friend who fought the fire till 1:30 in the morning, his house. Wow. Who had a house that had been in his family since 1979. He had both his parents die in that house. And it was a beautiful house in Altadena. And he was fighting with buckets, with the 5-gallon buckets, because he has a pool. He was going down the street and putting down embers that were flying so that they wouldn't. So after 1:30, he said that he left at 1:30 and he was like, the house is gonna be fine, everything's good, right? So we talked and we met around noon. So this is the 8th. This is Wednesday at noon. Let's meet at the Vallarta market and let's go find out if our houses are up. So when we got there, it was chaos there too in the parking lot. People, families crying, people just sleeping and doing all this stuff. It was really tough because it was like I had met there for, hey, we're gonna meet here before we go tailgate. We're gonna meet here before we do something fun, mm-hmm. right? And now we're meeting here just to find out if our houses were still out there, right? So we got around the police because at this point, the sheriff and the high patrol had already blocked the streets.
And they weren't letting anyone, even residents?
No, it was just too dangerous. Not even residents.
Yeah.
Nobody was going in anymore. People were coming out. Mm-hmm. So we, being Altadenians or natives, kind of knew what streets to go through. And so we got around it. And I realized now that I was in shock. Mm-hmm. I realized that you're driving to our destination and you're seeing things still on fire, still burning, families fighting it. Houses down, after down, everything, and you're in this red cloud, like you described it, and sure enough, Randall's house was gone, and he had a little rental house that he started when he got married. Him and his wife bought a little 1-bedroom house, and they were renting it while they lived in the big house. Mm-hmm. That was gone also, and that was a block away from mine. And then again, just turning the corner and you're fighting in the street. There's poles on this. Like, it's just like Universal Studios when you go there. You're doing this and we're getting to my block, and it's just house after house after house after house is just gone. And sure enough, my house was already gone. The one next door was still up, surprisingly, but the house across the street was in the middle of being just engorged. So that was confirmed. That was a shock. It really was a shock. We were so in shock.
Were you by yourself here,
Just
or
me.
were you with your sister?
No, there's no way she would have been able to do that. Yeah, it was just me, and yeah, so it was me and then two friends that we met. So again, I didn't know. Again, it was just to prepare yourself to get there to see. So had you just been blindfolded and dropped there,
Yeah.
I think it would have been different than driving up and anticipating the worst. And it is the worst. All right, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go have some beers and some wings. That's exactly what we did. And we sat there kind of just like, just what happened? I'll have habanero, please. Thank you. I'll get a Stella. Like whatever it was just like, and we just said, all right, this is what it is. So what happened afterwards, I think that up to that point is the tragedy, right? Up to that point. Because whatever happened afterwards from there was immediate support, immediate reaching out, immediate unsolicited gracious help from everyone that I knew, didn't know existed. In the first 2 days of being in that hotel, cause we were in that hotel, the Burbank, till Friday, so Wednesday to Friday. One of my colleague friends, she owns an escrow company in Whittier, and she said, "Do you have a place to stay?" I said, "I don't," and she go, "I could." And I knew she was up to something, but I didn't. I was just busy with getting her stuff, and her group of friends and colleagues and her resources said, "Pick one of these houses here. We're gonna get them for you." So
Wow.
it was houses in all over LA, and there was one in Montebello, which was close by. So they said, "Done. You have a house for a week in Montebello, and it's from us. So you guys can move it. Get in there on
amazing.
Friday." So we drove down there to Montebello, and when we opened the door, right, and the pantry.
Montebello is like Santa Barbara?
No, Montebello. You're thinking Montecito.
Yes,
So
you're right.
Montebello is if you think of the 605 and the 10, I'm thinking San Gabriel, Rosemead. It's a San Gabriel Valley, right? It's
Gotcha.
It's right around where the 10 and the I'm sorry, the 60 and Rosemead meet, right? And so we got to there. Door to door, it's only like 16 miles, right? If you just do a passing into there, it's 16 miles.
Yeah, you were there when I talked to you. That's where you were.
That's where I was, yeah. And we walked into the Airbnb, and the pantry was full. Refrigerator, milk, water, eggs, bread, cheese.
Sorry, I'm gonna start bawling.
You know, and there was
That's
a
amazing.
little sign on the door of the refrigerator. "Love you so much. Here's something to get you going." Da 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 da. And we were just thrown back by it. It was just
Wow.
Unbelievable. And so we were there, and obviously thanked her so much, and it was a great place. But what was good was that it had a really good dining room table, and I figured we have to make this an office. So I got another computer, a laptop, a printer, a whiteboard. We had Post-its. So it would look like a hub. So the difference. So just to go back, like the version of me telling this, or the reason that I'm telling this, I don't at all want to be painted as the hero in the story. I don't think I am, right? I think of myself as like an avenger, if you were to say that, right? If you can be nerdy about it. There were so many people that participated in us being well and healthy and housed, and having the resources that we got. Of course, there was this particular mode that I went in, right? And I'm really good at my business, really good. And I wish that I can transfer that in my personal life. So my personal life is not as organized and structured as my business.
Okay.
So I had to bring that mentality into this tragedy, into this emergency, and treat it like a business. We were computers, deadlines, huddles in the morning, huddles at night, phone calls, scheduling, talking. I mean, it was just like it was like I had to do it that way. And here's what I realized as it's youngest of three and only boy, right? I didn't realize what my role was in the family until now. So being that I have really smart, intelligent, tough, older sisters, I always was kind of just like, I'll let you guys make the decisions, you know, and we'll go from there. And it's always been like that. It's always been, they make the decisions that are important and I'll support it. So during this tragedy, the patriarch was handed to me without asking or without even like applying for it. It was just necessary because my sister is a very hardworking person, but she didn't know how to handle this crisis.
Yeah.
Or structure it, right?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you didn't even allow yourself to even think about anything. You just went right into action.
Yeah, I did, and it was a survival instinct, to be honest with you, because so people would text me and call me, "What do you need?" Right, and that was overwhelming. What do I need? I need bar soap. I need a towel that's bigger threads than the ones that are here, or whatever. You know, like I need a white pair of socks. I was so overwhelming of a question that I'm constantly I'm making decisions at that moment that are going to affect me in my life in the future. That decision, that phone call, or that text was overwhelming to me. And so I would say, I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you. And as the get back to you start piling up, I start getting more overwhelmed with things that I need on my to-do list. It wasn't until my friend Alex that texted me with something that was changed the way I looked at things. He goes, Jose, because he knows my business and he knows how I structure. He goes, what task can I take off your list right now? And I was like blown away. That's the best text. One, because we don't know how to offer our help in the situation. We've never been in the situation. You know, we don't know how to ask for help. And sometimes sending me links to something that you saw on Facebook or on a group is not helpful, because then I have to research that and read it. I rather you just did that. And so I said to him that day, I said, I need a printer. And he's like, got it. Boom, 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 really quick, did that. And so when someone would message me, I copied and pasted that text. I said, thank you so much for checking in on me. I really appreciate it. I'm overwhelmed. This is the best way to check in on me from time to time, right? I don't know what I need now, but if you feel like checking in with me later on, this is the best way. And so everybody, of course, would take the bait and said right there, what can I take off your plate then? Right? You did that too. And
well, I like that you told me, like, if you want to keep checking in, say this. Like, that's so helpful. Yeah. I shared that, on our stories.
Yeah. And that was key. That itself was key, because I was able to take out little things and then focus on the rest. For us as a family, there's a grieving period where we went through, and it was really tough to grieve because with my mom's mental condition or health, we weren't able to hug each other with the moment and grieve together, because she couldn't comprehend what's going on. So it was just me and my sister going through this.
Were you trying to like mask how you were feeling for your mom?
Absolutely. No. Well, no, but she didn't understand, like, or just with her condition, like you tell her something, for example, and then that opens up all these other questions that don't make any sense, or she can't put things one together. And so then by the time we finish explaining it, we go back to the first part that she forgot.
Yeah.
Right. So for her, one, we're reliving what I just explained to you 6 times already. So it is very hard if you have anyone that has Alzheimer's, they struggle with that. Also, I thought about this is like, well, how horrible it is for her, even if she doesn't remember, to relive what just happened to her house. Again, and even if she forgets it, something is triggered in there, you know? And so we decided to be like, nah, let's not worry about that. Let's focus on telling her something else.
Yeah.
And we're here, we're renting it, whatever. And then let's just get it going. So our biggest concern after we were able to get settled in was we need to put my mom in a safe place. And putting her in a safe place required a lot of thinking, a lot of calculating, and here money and everything. So we decided that we're going to send her to Mexico with her brothers, right? She has brothers and family there, and Mexico has been a house that we've gone for years and years on vacation, and so she's very familiar with the town and everything, and she grew up there and everything. So within all our cousins, it's kind of the same group, not just all within our same group. We kind of put together 24-hour care for her. We interviewed and hired 3 people. We set up a bank account there so we can deposit money for they can use that. Set up a doctor, set up a room, set up a TV, Netflix, like just the basic stuff. And as the second we could, we had a grasp of how it was going to go. My sisters flew my mom to Mexico. So while I stayed behind and continued to do the stuff.
So your mom's in Mexico.
She is. Yeah.
How's she doing there?
Happy and healthy. This woman.
You did send me an amazing picture of her,
She's
like smiling and
she's,
in the sun.
She's having a good time. Yeah, and we talk to her every day. And of course, she. How's vacation? Is what we're selling her. How's vacation? Oh, it's great. What are you doing? What are you eating? Like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. That kind of thing. It's just one of those things. And she's in a place where she's loved, where she's familiar, well taken care of.
That's
And
amazing.
one of my sisters is leaving, going to see her on March 1st. I'm gonna see her March 29th. So we're all just kind of go out there and do it. The last thing I wanted, and this was really hard. The last thing I wanted was for people to think that we're just dumping her.
Oh,
I mean, that's, again, it's really hard because you have to understand that that happens, believe it or not. A lot of people, when they get older, they get dumped in other people's responsibilities other than their kids. So we did not want to give out all that impression, but we couldn't move with her here. We couldn't make the moves that we needed to do.
yeah.
After we grieved with the what ifs, what ifs, why didn't we take this seriously? You know, why didn't we pack more things? Why didn't we, that was killing us, the what ifs. And after we got through that is when we started kind of embracing our next step.
So you were in Montebello until that Friday.
From Friday to Friday.
And
Yeah.
then what happened when you left there?
There we went to another Airbnb in El Monte, which was horrible. I'm so sorry. It was really bad. Really, really bad. It was I thought it was a good idea because we had the dog and had a patio, but everything was horrible. And I'm not gonna poop on that the details of it because it's their business. But while my sister was away, I said, I'm gonna change Airbnbs. I can't do this. And so of course I found another one in a really cute little place in Alhambra, and that was great. So by the time my sister got back, I had everything we owned in the other place, and that was so much better.
Okay.
During this time, everybody says, Jose, if you need a place, you can crash at my place. We have extra room, a couch. That's the first thing that everybody says, right? However, there's logistics behind that. Like, I mean, it's really nice. Yes, perfect. One, if I'm younger, I can sleep on anyone's couch. But nowadays, I need a good mattress.
True.
So, plus we have a dog, and it's a big dog. So we have to take in consideration. So our cousin Carmen, she and her wife, they live in Downey, and they have a son, 14-year-old son, and they have an extra room. And they had told us from day one, you have a house there, come live with us. We'll give it to you guys, the room. So then after Rosie got back, after my sister got back from Mexico, we're like, here's what we got to do. Let's go see the house. Let's go see the room, and let's go see if this is actually feasible and how it would work out. It was fine. It's a smaller room, and we were like, well, if we move this out of the way, and we'll just put 2 twin beds in there. My sister was like, do you mind sleeping in a twin? I was like, I don't mind sleeping in a twin as long as it has a good mattress, right? So we went and we got new mattresses, which my friend Chris is a manager at a mattress store here in Pasadena. She manages like several of them. And I called her, like, Chris, we got to get some mattresses. What do you got? She goes, okay, go to Alhambra, ask this. And she got us, like, I want to say 65% off on everything.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because now at this point, people are starting to rally around, and donation centers, and, free food at restaurants and all this stuff. So I was wondering if you were finding places like that for something like a mattress.
Yes. We saw, number one is my experience, because this is just my experience, with all the agencies that got into town. I had nothing but wonderful things to say about those people. Everybody from FEMA to the Red Cross to the Social Security, everybody was there. I was telling Ellie a story.
Wow, that's great.
They were really nice. Everybody was so nice, and everywhere I went to, for example, I went to get contacts, because I only brought the contacts that were on me. So I had to go get new replacements, and I was like, she has my address, and it's like, I need the thing, and I picked them up, and she goes, oh, okay, there's a discount for you. So I bought 2 cases of contacts, and I got $100 off. So I walked out with 16 pairs of contacts for $15. That was a good deal.
I mean, I wear daily, so they are pricey.
Right. Yeah. A really interesting thing is that I never dealt with, for example, at Red Cross, right? You will see Red Cross around the Christmas, and you drop the coins, and you really don't know how that money goes or where it goes.
I mean, I'm sure phone calls you never even thought you'd be making.
No,
ever.
Never. Our insurance company's been amazing, and I know that that's just my experience. It hasn't been with a lot of people. But the Red Cross, for example, can we give you that example? I thought it was really good. You're going to love this. It had a big tent in Pasadena, about the size of like a wedding reception, right? And they had desks, department, and everything. And the second that you walk in, somebody greeted you and said, do you need a hug?
Oh.
Right? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And it wasn't only a bro hug. It was like an embrace. And I was like, bring it in, let's go. That was and I was bawling. And the Red Cross is like, how's it going? What do you need? We got these options, all these things, and very, very helpful. FEMA was helpful. God, I mean, again, our insurance company showed empathy, which is very, again, right? I just want to say this. And everything they said they were going to do, they do in the time they do it. A lot of donations were given to us, a lot of stuff, and you have to kind of pick and choose of it. The GoFundMe, for example. My daughter started a GoFundMe page, and before I can spread it to our friends, I had to double check the verbiage on it, on the way it goes, because I heard that it can affect your benefits that you get from FEMA, for example, right?
Oh, okay.
And so she started that GoFundMe. I'm an independent contractor, so one brokerage that I've been working with as an independent contractor sent out an email, and I saw it. It said, Fire Relief Fund, fill out the application. This was like on the Wednesday. I'm like, sure, I got nothing else to do. Let's just type it in. And it was like, okay, it was really simple. It was easy. And that night, somebody said, do you have any photos? And I said, well, they haven't let us send any photos of the house.
Oh, okay.
At that point, we couldn't get in. So I uploaded what I took. I took the videos, and I took the videos of when I went saw the house at noon. And then the next morning, the CEO of Human Resources for the country calls me. She goes, Jose, I'm approving this fund to go to you immediately, and and we created another fund for you. It's a reimbursement. So once you collect X amount of dollars, upload everything in there, and we'll reimburse you. This is a brokerage that I'm an independent contractor. I'm not even an employee for them. And they did that. On top of that, they started a nationwide GoFundMe. They started with all their franchises and stuff. And one of their coaches said to them, they said, anyone who donates, because I was the only one affected.
Wow.
In the company, the only one, said anyone who donates $500 or more, I'm gonna give you 3 months of free coaching. And so boom, 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 boom. Wow. And then the guy came down to meet me. He wanted to meet me. Right? He came down.
That's incredible.
Right. Obviously, with that said, and with everything that was given in the help and everything was just, it was overwhelming. And I felt more overwhelmed with kindness and support at that point than I did with the tragedy.
You mean like how to receive it?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I talked to you about this before, but I've never been good at asking for help. Never. So I had to learn how to accept that with grace. And that was very hard. And again, you're just seeing these people do all these moves for you, and everybody's just cheering for you, right? And that's very, very fun.
It's been a really beautiful thing to see in our city. I think I have become a little bit jaded and maybe not as trusting of people as I have been. You know, I'm approaching 14 years in LA, and it's really nice to see people smiling at each other and saying hi to each other. I remember coming back from New Jersey for the holidays, and I'm trying to make a right, and no one is letting me go. And I'm like, the light is red. I'm not going to delay you at all, but no one is letting me in. Yeah. And then the fires are happening. I'm at a 4-way stop sign, and everyone's like, you go. No, you go. No, you go. Yeah. And like, I just started crying because it was just a beautiful thing to see our city coming together in this way, helping people like you. So 1, thank you for sharing all of that. And 2, I'm so glad that you received such kindness and such generosity.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And again, it's. I'll give you a few more examples. And if the point that I want to get across is there's a lot of negative things out there right now, right? Negative things and who's at fault. And I've had this discussion with other Altadena residents, you know, and they're like, well, you know, somebody needs to pay, and this is going to be Edison's fault, and this, that, and the other. You didn't deserve this. I'm like, listen, this is what you're telling me. Like, I'm in the water swimming while my Titanic just sank, and you're telling me that's the iceberg that you hit. I'm like, I just trying to get off this water and do a raft and survive. I'll worry about that later on. Right now, I'm just trying to survive, and I don't have the heart to point fingers at anybody right now because that doesn't help me. People grieve in different ways. That's anger. We went to the lot, not the house anymore, the lot for the first time, I think 2 weeks afterwards. And we went with masks and hazmats and goggles and everything. And we went to Home Depot and bought all these things and shovels because we thought we were going to find a lot of things, right? This is a 1,000 square foot house that my mom and my sister had owned for 25 years. Everything disintegrated. Everything is gone.
So you're just digging through to see what you can find?
Digging through ashes, see what you can find. Everything burned too hot, too long. Wow. Why? Because we didn't shut off our gas. Nobody did. We'll be back. So everything did. So the second the washer or the dryer, the stove tilts over, it just fuels everything, just keeps going, burning. So we're digging through this, right? And the ashes, it's the middle of the day, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And a fire truck comes by, right? And guy yells out. First, I thought he was going to say, you can't be here, or something. I thought I was in trouble. And he said, do you guys need help?
Aww.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. And 3 handsome, strong, young firemen came down. And I'm like, oh, we're going to get this done. Yes, we can do it. And they have the big equipment. And so what happens with walls that are stucco is when the wood burns, they're attached by chicken wire, so they kind of collapse and do this.
Okay.
So imagine you have a TV or something here. It kind of. So my thought was there's things underneath there.
Okay.
Right? And obviously, my mom had a lot of china, and my mom had collected, for example, nativity sets. She had 88 nativity sets.
Wow.
So it was Christmas time. We did not put 88 of them out, but we had a few of them, but they were all in the garage. But she had different shapes and sizes and made from different material, glass, corn husks, porcelain. So we're just trying to think and see what we can find these ashes. And these guys helped us open up these walls and dig through things. And we had drawers where we thought, well, we had paper, just like that, paper that was medical records or things like, or taxes or whatever, gone. It's just, everything's gone. But as we're doing this, a car comes by, and the lady yells out, "Do you guys want water?"
Wow.
And then we're like, "Yeah." And so she brought us bottled waters for everybody and a gallon of water for us to wash our hands and our face afterwards. And as we're doing this, another car comes by in a van, and he's like, "I got albondiga soup. You guys want some?"
Wow.
And then we're like, "No." I mean, at this point, I'm like, "No, thank you." But I have a to-go container in the car. Let me go get it. And then a few minutes later, literally, like, just people are just in the neighborhood helping. A van full of like maybe 6 or 7 people come out, and these people drove from North Carolina to volunteer and help clean these lots.
That's amazing.
Right? And I was just blown away by them just wanting to help. And I said, I'm good with ours, but I said, our neighbor who doesn't live with this house, go through their stuff and see what you can have. And then, so they were like going through his stuff, and then went across the street. God, I mean, there's so many stories of kindness. The passport thing, when you know, the fact that you got yours expedited quicker because you have a date, right? You needed a date to show a date that you're going somewhere, right? I don't have a date to go anywhere, and so the lady in Pasadena said, just book a hotel and go to the office, and then you can just cancel it afterwards, right? And for some reason, it's like, I just don't want to lie right now. I want to be as straight as an arrow as I can. Just go with it. Whatever. I'm not in a hurry. And I go to the window, and I said, this is the thing. My passport expired. My mom's in Mexico. I want to see her, but I don't know when. I haven't booked it because you tell me when I'm going to get it back, and then I'll book it. She goes, okay. And she charged me, 1, a discount, 2, to expedite it in 4 days.
That's amazing.
And this is a federal worker. Like, if you think about like like the DMV and stuff.
Oh, what a nightmare.
Right. Yeah. She didn't need to do that. She did not need to do that. And
but you know what? People can do those things, and people can be kind, and people can help out. So I'm so glad that you were met with such kindness. And it seems like from everyone along this journey of yours.
Yeah. And that's really, I think, the story to tell. And I think the story of people, where are you, Jose? They're saying, where are you? I'm over here. I'm on my way. And they would meet with like a truckload of donations and stuff. And it was stuff that you didn't even think that you needed, like like toothpaste or shampoo, or there's towels or coat hangers. Oh my God, coat hangers.
Sam was actually, let's bring Sam in. You ready? Talk Dodgers to me. That's
Is that where you get all your clothes from?
All my jackets.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's really good.
Okay, well, first, Jose, you are such a positive, like, high-spirited, uplifting person from the moment I met you that I'm not surprised that you were receiving that in return. You know, so I hope down the road you take a moment to feel good about how you handled everything. I think sometimes we wonder how we're gonna deal with really tough situations in the moment. And I'm blown away just by listening to you. I'm so sorry for what happened. And please continue to tell us how we can take tasks off of your plate, and maybe over here we can find some fun clothes for you or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wanted to bring my sister in, my sister Sam, who you guys have met already. She is a clothing designer and stylist, originally in New York and now in LA. But the moment that people really started gathering together, she turned her warehouse into a donation base and started reaching out to contacts, friends, and saying, I'm here, bring donations. And so take it from here and kind of explain your mindset.
Well, first of
during
all, my heart feels heavy right now. And like, you know, just hearing what you went through, and I think the stories of what people are going through are just starting to come out, right? Everyone's just, there's this initial shock, and you have to just live your day by day. And now people are coming out and sharing their stories. So I know that was probably not the easiest thing to relive, but I mean, you are, what we've gained out of so much loss is so valuable, I believe. And you have the right state of mind to really see that. So Melissa and I were together from the moment the fire started, and Melissa, you know, we're so different in the way we deal with things. She was so scared, and I just was like, I didn't want to leave. I just really wanted to protect my city in a way. And my brain kind of just went towards like, how can I help, you know? And I have a brand, I have a warehouse, I have employees, I have responsibilities. And I mean, my personal experience was, I was right after the first day, I went to my warehouse the next day just to see, because I have a hole in the ceiling there. And so I just wanted to see, like, are we okay? And it was filled with ashes. And this is my clothing brand. Like, we're making, like, you know, clothes.
And that's also in Venice, just to give some perspective.
Yeah, we're in Venice,
This is in Venice, where...
So there's ash everywhere, and it's like, I have employees to look out for, but I'm not going to stop our jobs because everyone has to get paid, you know? And it's like, as a leader, like, what do you do? And someone reached out to me saying, hey, I know someone that lost everything in the Palisades fire. Can I come buy them a Papa Sweater? So I launched this brand, Papa Sweater, during COVID, actually, because I had launched another collection, but it didn't work. So the brand kind of like spoke to the climate in terms of like, we need a wearable hug. Okay. So I pivoted my career to that. And when someone said to me, can I buy a Papa Sweater for someone? I'm like, damn, I wish I was like a baller and can just like pop them out to everyone, you know? But like, what can I do? A brand isn't a product. A brand is what we do. A brand is our message. And I'm like, we are going to change this business right now. And we're going to be there for the people. So whether it was, you know, at that moment, it was giving 50% off of the Papa Sweaters to people, but let's take it a step further, taking our scrap fabrics and making blankets. And then, you know, it just happened very naturally because I just started reaching out to people, just saying, who wants to donate clothes? Like I have a space, and so many people showed up. Like That's it was ridiculous. Like I had 20 people just volunteering at my studio on a daily basis. I had friends from New York, Miami, restaurants sending to my studio. Burton, huge shout out to Burton, the snowboard company. They sent me 30 boxes of brand new clothing, jackets, backpacks, socks. So your treat is going to come till when I finish. But so I'm I'm collecting clothing from so many people that my brain is like, well, first of all, people are bringing stuff in, minus the Burton boxes. People are bringing things in garbage bags. Right. And that was making me really upset because, first of all, this is a bigger problem than just the fires. It's the climate crisis. And part of that is like this, let's not use plastic for everything. Sure. And who wants a garbage bag with things to leave? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the morale and whatnot. So that's what I had my seamstress do. As we were going through donations, people were donating. I'm sure you might have seen from what people give you, like, I don't want someone's like 10-year-old like sheet, you know? So we started taking the sheets people donated and repurposing them into tote bags.
Oh, big tote bags.
So I started like a big, Mom, do you want to show that one up there, over there? I started this tote bag initiative, and there were, we can show on the pod. So Myra, my amazing seamstress, because I just wanted her to keep working and keep going and just keep the energy high. We made hundreds of these bags, and they can fit, like, I swear to you. So what I started doing then was curating the wardrobes. So like because these high school girls would come in, they're like, went to Palisades High School. They were in the same clothes that they ran away from their houses in. And they were so overwhelmed by all the wardrobe. So I'm like, let me simplify. I've been a wardrobe stylist for 12 years. Like, let me have fun with this. Let's have fun with disaster. I think that's what it's all about. It's like, how can we make this our own? How can we shed light wherever there is some darkness? And so for me, I was like, all right, let me make outfits, and like that joy of mine spread to them. And so, yeah, I had these high school girls leave with 6 looks each in these bags. And so as I said, just so many things. What I ended up doing with all of it is curating about like 10 wardrobe racks of wardrobe. And the A-List, which is a big PR company, they turned their offices into free donations.
You know that I got a ticket from dropping off donations there?
Oh, all right. So we'll take care of that.
Sure.
That's wild.
I'm sure you can get taken care of.
Can you believe that?
But anyway,
Sorry,
so
that
when
just
you're
came to
ready, they've got donations. They had donations from I think like J-Lo and like so I curated like Gucci sweaters. Like I'm telling you the things that my friends like. Thank you so much on it. I can't even like begin. I don't think I've reflected on this yet until right now either because it's just been go.
You have an entrepreneur mentality, right? That's the big difference is that with your mentality of it, you, whether you like it or not, you're always thinking systematically. Well, how can I help? How can I do this better? Just that right there, thinking about how you can do it better. How you can grab a product that you can't use into something you can use. That's not a lot of people have that mentality, right?
I think it's like
when she was doing
survival mode.
Yeah,
for sure.
Life,
but also, our mom was taking us to toy drives and things when we were 6 years old.
Yeah.
So that's what we know.
Yeah, mom recently, I mean, her business that in North Carolina, was it, right? Nashville. So like had packed up boxes and sent, so like we were raised by that of like, this is what we raise a platform for. This is what success is getting to make a positive change in the world, right? And I felt this power that I had of like all these people reaching out, like take advantage of that in its best form 100%. Possible, I think, you know? So when you're ready, I want to bring you to the A-List and we'll totally wardrobe you.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
No, I'm very excited for that.
And again, as a guy who I don't like to pick out my clothes, right? I just had an experience like because all my clothes, my work clothes was gone. I think that's the hardest thing for me is my work clothes, and I have to look semi-professional, so not like right. So then when I finally had some time, I went to the Men's Warehouse, right? And I felt like Julia Roberts and Pretty Woman where
walking out with
like,
a bunch
all right,
of
guys, and there was nobody there. I was the only one there. I'm like, this is what I want. This is what and they're like, okay. So somebody comes over here with this and this, and I'm trying. I'm coming out like that looks good. I can hear the background like dun 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 dun, and then I have to go find someone and tell them that they ask them if they work off a commission. They just lost it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna come that day, and we'll have.
No, we'll
fun.
do it. No, that's what I'm saying. Like you have fun with this.
Yeah,
stuff, you know
and I never have fun shopping. Trust me.
Yeah.
As a big guy, it's not fun to shop. But that opportunity. And the fact that they knew what I had lost, they did it with joy. With joy. And that's why I think about you. You were doing this with joy, which makes it really impactful. Because when you know your why, your how, you move towards your how, with a purpose. And you knew your why and how to do it. You moved with a purpose. And that is appreciative for someone like me. Who needed that time, just even though I didn't receive anything, but to see that humanity in you, that really gave me as a victim, or as survivor, whatever you want. I hate to say victim, but
an Avenger.
Joy and hope. Was that?
You said you're an Avenger.
An Avenger, yeah, exactly. It gave me a lot of joy, honestly.
Well, I had my eye out for clothing. Melissa would be like, "Did you see any clothes for Jose?" And did you see any? There was a whole Dodger section I put on a table for you, actually, just because I'd go through the stuff. Oh, sports. There we go. Designer clothes. There we go.
It's a shame because I had throughout the years I had 7 jerseys, all different colors. Jackets. I had just bought this brand new jacket last May because I thought it was gonna be cold, but it was never cold. I don't know why I bought this jacket, but I had a lot of Dodger gear. I had maybe 17 or 18 hats, shirts and everything, and so
We will definitely find you some more. You know,
Yeah.
I went and helped a bunch with Sam, but at that time, you know, we all have different reactions to everything, and this is when we can barely breathe outside at this point. So I really was afraid to be outside. I wanted to take care of myself while also helping. And where her warehouse is, it's outside. So I didn't feel comfortable doing that. So I did what I know, and I started cooking and baking. And I gotta say, what I came out of this with was such appreciation for our firefighters, because I walked into those stations and I brought cookies or chili or whatever it was, and that didn't even matter. It was the conversations I was having with them
100%. Yeah.
and just how they were responding. Like, I was walking in and like could barely say thank you without crying. And they just deflected everything off of themselves and were like, you know, we're just doing our job. There are so many people that are in devastation right now, and this is just our job. And I was just so taken back by that, and just how humble they were. And it's like, they didn't want to receive any thank yous.
They didn't
Some
want
of
to
them
be on the podcast.
I know I did want to shine a light on a firefighter and have them share their story, but I completely respect that they don't want to talk about themselves.
No, even a firefighter came up to me at the event. We did a fundraising event a couple of weeks ago, and a firefighter thanked me for what I'm like, you're thanking me? Like, are you kidding? Like, but it was such you know, but that's the thing. It's like how you started this whole thing. You're like, I'm not the hero here. Like, people thanking me, like, what the fuck? Sorry, what else would I do?
Right.
I have a 5,000 square foot warehouse. What else would I do with that during that time?
But they would be
And that
like,
was
I wasn't there day one. I was off that day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then he goes, but I worked 14 days straight. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, like, we appreciate
Yeah.
you so much. Even if you can't appreciate your own work, it's like it becomes such second
That's what
nature.
they
That's what
just-
they do
that's
every
what they do.
day.
By the way, those firefighters that
But-
came and helped us dig were from Santa Cruz.
Wow.
They were from Santa
Wow.
Cruz.
Aw.
Yeah, so they came
We have
down.
family in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, yeah. Again, the survival mode, and you mentioned. So for me, even to this day, like when I tell somebody that I need help because of this, the first thing that they say to me, they don't even know me, like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and that in itself for them, the way that I receive it is so genuine that it's hard for me not to get emotional about it, and I was like, oh, thank you, get from there. The second the entrepreneur mind that you have, when I got 10% out of survival mode from where I was at, is when I reached out to my neighbors and I said, all right, I'm out of survival mode a little bit. I can stick my head out. These are my resources. And I started a list. I started documenting everything I'm doing, so that it's a checklist. It's resources, it's links, it's everything, so that I'm building this manual. So in the event that any of my family members or friends or whoever, I don't want this to happen to anybody. If this ever happens, I have a protocol for it. Here's how to get started, right? The first 3 steps you need to do is this, and then that. And I have this manual that I've been creating, and so I reached out to my neighbors. I did that. I offered them to review any leases that they're already kind of signing, because there was a lot of shady stuff going on the first week.
Yep.
I said, I have a team of people that are experts at leases. Please let me know who needs them. I'll put you guys together. I'm organizing right now a Zoom meeting with a tax attorney, because I had never heard about this. Did you guys know that we have you have to file your losses and your capital gains on your taxes a certain way now with this?
Wow.
I didn't know that, so I'm organizing with my neighbors a Zoom with a CPA. Next, I'll organize a pizza party for us to kind of get together and kind of tell each other, because we haven't seen each other, and see where we're at. And then the next thing I have next week is the idea is we're still talking and we want to build together. Everybody wants to build, but we're all in the stages where we're starting to see how much this insurance is gonna help us with, and some of us may not be able to rebuild. The math doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. So what does that look like? So next week I'm doing a platform where a construction management company is going to be there, an architect's going to be there, city planners, so they can tell us on what it costs to do something like this, because I don't know how to build a house.
Yeah.
And what I want to what I want to propose to my block is, what if we hire one management company to manage all of our houses at the same time, so that we can save in labor and material, and our houses in the neighborhood go at the same time. The foundation goes at first, city goes and checks them off. Framing goes at next, city goes in. So we're moving at the same time, and the city comes in on one day and busts our house, our block out, and we're growing at the same time, and we're moving in where the certificates of occupancy closer and sooner we're with each other. We're growing, because I really do think I knew my neighbors, but I knew them to the extent where, like, hey George, hey Phil, what's going on? Good the dog, Merry Christmas. But now, like, I know so much about them, and I want to say that I absolutely love them. I love them. And if anything came out of this, is that my block feels like more in the rubble, in the ashes. It feels more of a community than it ever has when it was up and still, there. So I'm helping this way as well. Like, I started thinking, how can I help my sources?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, let's take it.
Keep
let's
us
do it.
posted
Yeah,
on all
I was
that
gonna
stuff,
say.
because it's like the more you know.
Well,
no
I'm,
one's been
I'm
through
gonna,
this.
I'm gonna share it on my social media and stuff. But right now, like, if anybody would like to attend that Zoom meeting, I'll send them the link
Well,
for it.
tell the people listening.
Well, I'll post it, because it's Tuesday, February 22nd. It's gonna be on Zoom at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And it's gonna be just for a half an hour. They're gonna tell us for 15 minutes what we need to do as preparing our taxes, right? Because it's tax season, unfortunately, and then questions that we may have to the CPA. We're gonna leave 15 minutes available for them to talk. There's that. And then at the WeWorks in Pasadena, it's going to be on Thursday the 28th. I think is going to be what I'm organizing the platform. I'm even proposing an architect to design for our block. Give me 5 models. Give me 5 models so that our houses are similar but not the same.
Any architects out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy and his fiance are doing the same thing.
We want to have all this information, and there's also a lot of negative talk out there of what it's going to cost to build, and tariffs and labor and all this stuff, and all of that false information, I think, is geared towards scaring people around, right? Because a scared person sells and buys things. It's consumers, and we forget sometimes to tell these wonderful stories that we're creating to help our community.
Yes.
That doesn't spread because it doesn't create money. It's free. And so sometimes it's clouded. These are things that you did. I bet there's so many people did not know about it because they were so worried about it's Edison's fault that the thing fired.
No,
and
you're
blah, blah,
completely
blah.
right. Even when I was watching the news like crazy, Adam's like, you are exactly what they want. You are scared and you keep watching because they're scaring you.
Right. Well,
So I'm so glad to hear amazing stories like this from you.
Yeah.
And I want you to keep me up to date on everything, and I'll share as much as you're comfortable with our audience. And maybe we can post about what you're doing, the Zoom, for whoever wants to join. If there's an architect or anyone that could help, that would be great.
Yeah.
So just you tell me what
Engineers,
you need,
I'll let you know.
how me and the podcast can help.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I've never lost a home, but I've lost people. And it's a lot of people coming right around that time, and they're there for you, and they're giving you food and all this stuff. And then it tapers away. So I just want to remind everyone listening, we all know someone that lost everything. You all now know Jose. Continue to reach out, continue to check in, continue to ask what you can take off their list, their to-do list. Because this is just the beginning of rebuilding from losing everything. And again, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story and for becoming a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I
thank you
wait
for all you
our,
did.
Post-fire wardrobe
Let's
makeover.
get it. We have to have
That's why I'm even theming it. The post-fire
thinking
wardrobe, like it's like a
montage.
new,
I'm
new
thinking
vibe.
montage for sure.
Me too.
Yes.
It's an opportunity. See what you said so many times. It's an opportunity to rebuild, an opportunity to find these new parts about yourself, and let's express them through clothes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. Good. This is
And go Dodgers.
All right, little team hug
Yeah.
here, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, Yeah, and
Thank you,
Jose,
guys.
you'll come back and talk more Dodgers baseball with Melissa.
Yeah.
This season.
Oh my
You
God.
might have
Is
to
there-
become a
is there-
regular.
Is there any anything going on? Dodgers? How many kind of forget? I don't know. Is there anything going on? I don't know. Thanks.
Just a little bit. We
yeah.
got every single person I wanted.
But yeah, absolutely did. Yeah, I'm so excited. I've never been
Every
more.
single
I mean,
one.
I'm excited about the season, but I'm also like I'm just so. I've been so hurt in the past, right? And then and that I'm like I'm trying to fake the emotion. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Roki,
You know?
Blake Snell,
Yeah,
Tanner
who?
Scott.
Yeah,
no
that's
big
cool.
deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
What's the date of the first game at Dodger Stadium?
March 26th, the Thursday.
Oh, it's
20 or
really
20.
coming up, guys.
26, yeah.
It's really
Which
coming up.
if
Are you trying to go to
works-
opening day?
100%, yes. It means so much for me. It means a new beginning. It means just, I mean, it's World Series or anything less than World Series is disappointment. But I'm not going to put that out there in the universe. I'm going to go one game at a time.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy the process of getting to the World Series.
I mean, that is the Dodgers mentality.
Yeah.
One day at a time. We hear them say it all the
Yeah,
time. So
yeah.
that's perfect. And we will follow suit. And guys, it's almost time for Dodger baseball.
Let's go. I'm excited for it.
So we will be back officially with season 2 in just a couple weeks. But we wish you the best moving
Thank you.
forward. And we will keep everybody in the loop.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good night.
I just want somebody to talk Dodgers to me.